Let's go, Rider Nation.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, here we go. It's a feeling now. Get 'em high, get 'em low, 'cause we're dealing now. Everybody's giving it all they got, 'cause we're ready.
This is the Piffles podcast, your Saskatchewan Roughriders fan podcast. We're looking a lot more comfortable this week, boys.
Speak for yourself. I love dressing up. That was nice.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I'm just saying we're more comfortable.
That's fair.
Sweats, a sweatshirt.
Sweats. You wear pants while we record? Weird.
Just in case. You never know.
Never know. Never know.
And that's not something I want to subject other people to. So you're welcome, by the way, Steve.
Appreciate that, man. 1 minute in and we've jumped the shark.
This is the Saskatchewan Roughriders fan podcast, Piffles podcast. Thanks for joining us. You got me. I'm Alex.
I'm mid-drink. I'm Steve.
And I'm just staring through the window, trying to figure out what's next. Like so many boy band videos that are ballads, just staring out a rainy window.
I was going to say it's raining, right?
Yeah.
There's an O-Town joke here about the rainy window, and I'm not going to make it, but it's implied.
It's
All my
implied.
boy band lovers will know exactly what that is, and we'll
That's actually that's the video I had in my head when I was referencing that.
yeah, we'll jettison away from that. Thanks for joining us here wherever you get your podcasts, watching on YouTube, watching on SaskTel Max TV on demand, or on the live stream on X or Facebook, and we appreciate that. Thank you. Piffles podcast, of course, is brought to you by Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. We're also proud to be sponsored by Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's Tactical Laser Tag Experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas. Hit us up on the socials. I'm at Real Alex D.
You'll find me at Safamod.
And as always, I do not need nor want your pity follows at Greg on Sports.
What a week it's been since the Piffy Awards. Couple general managers are really pushing for some Piffies after what we've seen over the last week, especially in the Ed Hervey tampering window. I think we got to talk about it. It's time to talk some football. It's time for the opening kickoff.
I want to remind these guys there's no Piffy for winning the off season
Yet. There might be next year.
It's a whole slate of new categories next year. Who knows what we're going to come up with?
I guess we got some in mind. But that's 51 weeks from now, ish.
give or take.
We got time.
But we're talking some riders here. We'll start with some sad news. Former defensive back Steve Dennis passed away at age 74 this past week. Tied for fourth in rider history with 33 interceptions. He was a 2007 Plaza of Honor inductee. I never got to see him play. From what I understand, he was one of the few bright spots on some very bad Rough Rider teams during his time. So I know a lot of our listeners, a lot of our viewers would have watched him play, and from what I read on Rider Fans, lots of great things said about Steve Dennis and his play with the Riders. So thoughts go out to his family and friends. But free agency has started. Well, unofficially started with the Ed Hervey tampering window opening up on Sunday. Tons and tons of Rider stuff to talk about. Let's talk about the official signings that the team has had, because some things could break down, which led us to one of our official signings, actually. But last week, before the free agency window opened up, big news. Keyshawn Johnson, and we gave Jeremy O'Day a Piffy last week, and Craig Reynolds for giving out. We didn't give him a Piffy, actually. I think we were just giving.
We gave him some love for it.
Shout out, yeah. for announcing big announcements the last basically all of this calendar year 2026 on Mondays or Tuesdays, so that we have this stuff for our show on Tuesday night. Well, it was the very next day we get the big news of Keyshawn Johnson.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kerfala Exume.
Don't,
because that one came first.
Go look at the list. Exume is like at the bottom of what I want to talk about here.
Piffy award for biggest signing that made you go, huh? Why?
I had to laugh though because when that Exume signing came, I'm like, see, Craig understands. These are the ones you bury on a Wednesday.
That would have been good Friday at when they announced Mike Rose on Saturday. That would have been a good day to announce Kerfala Exume, because people still don't know that Mike Rose re-signed because it happened on a Saturday. But the Riders, okay, so we'll go with Kerfala Exume. Thoughts, gentlemen? Go ahead.
I hope to never see him in the defensive backfield ever again. Special teams?
Yay! Yay! Yeah, exactly.
Defensive backfield? No.
So yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was too. It's a good depth signing. Like, if he honestly didn't get forced into action that Montreal game, I don't think that many people would care whether he signed or not. But the fact that he got torched over and over and over in that Montreal game, yeah, he's not welcome in many places in this town.
The thing that surprised me, I didn't realize that he was a three-time champ, was it?
Yep.
That's there's something to be said about that. And you need special teams depth and guys that play special teams for cheap. He is going to fit that bill, because I doubt he got paid a ton of money. So if you can get that special teams play, you take it.
I would have rather the team go and draft somebody. It's possible he doesn't make the team, right?
Yeah, they still can't.
It's possible.
I don't imagine there was a big signing bonus.
Yeah, like it's possible AJ Ouellette doesn't make the team, right? Like, it's just the same with Kerfala Exume. I would have preferred they just draft a guy and just walked away. I get it. I'm usually the one that defends the, you have to have the Canadian role players on special teams. The saving grace in this signing to me is that they did re-sign Nelson Lacombo, Jackson Ford, Jaden Dalkey, and Tavon Campbell. So we need 4 injuries for him to ever see the field.
Knock on wood everywhere nearby you, please.
And if all 4 of those injuries occurred, hopefully not all in the same game. If they did happen, it was over a multitude of games, and you would see Sap or Red Wine in the lineup somehow if they could make the ratio work that way. So hopefully we'd have 6 injuries. Hopefully we don't have those 6 injuries, but hopefully that's what it would take to see Exume back on the defensive field. But again, great special teamer. So you do need guys like that on the list. So, but that was the news on Wednesday. For what, half an hour, something like that?
Well, and technically speaking, the Riders actually didn't announce it until Thursday. It was 3 down, jumping the gun with the rumored signing. So,
yeah, and that was Keyshawn Johnson signing for 2 years. Obviously, a big signing. 1,000-yard guy. Your 1A to 1B with Sam Emelis on this receiving core. And basically that returns 4 out of the 5 starters that was kind of going into this season, the last season. So they're
from Grey Cup.
Yeah. Well, Grey Cup was a little bit different because Keyshawn wasn't there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And it was Neald and Picton, both of which are not coming back, right? So, but Keyshawn Johnson, obviously, huge signing. So when you look at what they're going to do in the receiving group, you have Johnson, you have Emelis, KSB, whichever of the other Canadians is going to start, Del Duncan Busby or Joe, or however that last Canadian spot kind of works. And I think they're going to go with a new recruit or one of the practice roster guys from last year as the other American on the line, COC Mariner. Knowles, I think, is a guy that's
Yeah.
on the list too. They're going to go probably younger and hope that they find another Keyshawn Johnson, Dante Myers that comes out of the woodwork and makes some plays. So we're returning almost the entire starting receiving unit. So good news for the Riders, obviously, with that one.
Johnson was a must sign after Myers went down. We talked about that ad nauseum over the last 2 weeks. You need him in that receiving core, and we're going to lose a few pieces here or there. Keeping the majority of this starting offense together is an absolute win.
Oh yeah, when you can have this much familiarity with Trevor Harris, it's going to help you out. But yeah, hopefully they can find that extra American. Like I'm just looking at the list right now. There's Abdul Janae Jr., Ali Jennings III, Colin Brunstein, Malik Knowles, Sorosi Mariner. Like there's some guys here that could possibly be that diamond in the rough.
Yeah,
2 years ago, nobody knew who Keyshawn or Dante Myers were, right? And the one thing this team has managed to do really well under Jeremy O'Day is find receivers. It has been a constant forever. It seems like anybody they put on that field, whether they're Canadian or American, becomes a stud. Tommy Neild was a nobody this time last year, and now all of Rider Nation is sad that he might be leaving, or is leaving, or
will be
what
leaving.
have you. Could potentially be leaving. Yeah.
Not officially.
He's gone.
But also
actually, I just want to pop this up here while we're talking about it.
Shane asking, would it be worth bringing in Sean Bain back after looking?
He corrects it to losing in the next post, but yeah,
after losing so many receivers. No, they released him
for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, I was the guy here on the pod that loved Sean Bain. I was super pumped when he signed here, and I was vindicated in 2023 when he had that 1,000-yard season. He was off to a okay start in 2024. Had that really bad ACL injury, obviously. He got passed, and even when they were even when he got into the roster at the end of last season, he wasn't used for anything.
You saw like them releasing him before the free agency window closed. It shows they knew he wasn't coming back. They weren't interested in him. Like them using him as a healthy scratch when they had a bunch of injuries on receiver kind of tells you where he fell in the hierarchy.
Yeah, so no surprise with Bain not coming back that they did just officially release him this week as well. Sticking with the offense, AJ Ouellette signed 1-year deal. Obviously, lots of people. No one's happier than me. I got the jersey in the back here. I'm quite happy about that. Again, a big part of this offense, had a career year. I know he's hitting that 30 years, running back age number, but one more year, I don't think anybody could be upset at it. And Greg was wrong on this one.
No, I was correct with everything I said. I didn't say there was a 0 chance of him coming back. I said it's possible that cooler heads could prevail. But I want to point out, he backed up everything I basically said, where he got a very low offer. It pissed him off. He apparently had to go for a heavy workout to work it out. And then they came back around. But it sounds like for a guy who is coming off a career year, they basically gave him the same deal eventually. Mm-hmm. So for a guy that probably deserved a raise, he didn't get it. So that tells you how those negotiations actually went.
And I think this was an ideal situation for the Riders. After James Butler signed in BC, there was really no RB1 spot open across the league. Maybe Hamilton, until you see what Greg Bell does. But he didn't really have a lot of options. It was here where he will be a beloved member of Rider Nation until he dies, or he looks elsewhere. And better to sign before free agency opens when he can still get that money, because that that contract offer could go down very quickly. So,
Well, when Butler signed, the only places left other than here were Hamilton, depending on what Bell does, and Ottawa, depending on what they did with Stanback. Obviously, Ottawa went and got Bell. That just leaves Hamilton right now kind of figuring out what they want to do if Stanback's even in their purview.
And the one thing with AJ was he's his own agent. He doesn't have an agent. He negotiated this himself. So that's why he had to go for the workout, right? It's not just your agent calling you up and be like, look, man, this is kind of a crappy offer. I'd say no. Let's see what else we can get, blah, blah, blah. Or however that conversation between agent and player goes. This is him being told directly from the team, hey, yeah, you had a career year, but you ain't worth it.
Yeah, we need a haircut.
Okay. Okay. I'd be pretty pissed off too if it came down to it, right? So he said that he went for a workout, clear his mind, came back to the table, and they made it work. Ultimately, that's all that matters. They made it work, and the most marketable guy on the Riders is back for another year. I'm hoping they can slide some more marketing money his way, because he's one of those guys that's out at every signing. He's everywhere in the community, doing commercials on TV, all that kind of stuff. So that's just off the field stuff, right? Not to mention on the field, great blocker, pass protection as well too. So another key staple here with this offense staying intact. The other move for the offense happened officially on today, actually Tuesday. James Letcher Jr. Greg, you're happy about this one. I
feel great. Express Wrestling V2. I feel great.
You wish this into existence.
Thanks, Jeremy O'Day.
I prayed for this and it happened.
Okay,
I didn't actually pray for this, but to me, it made the most sense. He was the most, unless you wanted to go out and get an aging Janarian Grant and you weren't going to stick with Alford, this guy was the guy you wanted as your kick returner. I'm glad BC fumbled the ball on this one. That's who we were supposed to go, or was it Red Blacks?
It was Ottawa.
I think this one was BC. I thought Ottawa was the other guy. There was a couple of them that
a couple offers got pulled. Yeah. So regardless, I'm glad he fell back. Actually, I think it was Ottawa. I believe it was Ottawa. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, BC's got Seven McGee and another guy too.
So yeah, Ottawa for some reason changed their mind, pulled his offer, and he decided to go with us. And I like the fact that the Alouettes realizing he's not coming back, just release the guy in the window and let him fully sign on and get on board early. That's always great.
Something's going on at Steve's house.
Something going on at Steve's house.
My speakers decided to randomly start playing music in the middle of a turned off surround system. Cool.
The least good
Hope
music.
Casper's having a great time. No, it was some like theme music it sounded pretty epic.
Yeah.
If I walked into a room and that music went off, I'd feel pretty good about myself, but it was a little confusing.
So there's the moves on offense. Defense, a little bit more work being done here. Obviously, we knew there was going to be more turnover on the defense than the offense this year, just how the offseason has gone. So we mentioned Kerfala Exume. DeMarcus Fields also in the defensive backfield, signing for 2 years. This one surprised me, not because of Fields wanting to come back or wanting him back. I thought he was one of the better players on defense in the second half of the season. He showed a lot of improvement last year. I know he was a lot of Rider Nation's favorite, DB to hate last year. But
that wasn't Kerfala Exume.
I was going to say.
But Fields really improved as the season went on, and signing for 2 years, you look at that defensive backfield now, basically running it back with the exact same guys, Marcus Sales, Roland Milligan. Your safety is probably Lacombo or Ford, and you have Fields and Campbell as well too. So continuity in the defensive backfield reminds me a lot of the early 2000s when they had Adolphus McCulloch, Omar Morgan, Eddie Davis. and some of those guys, right? So this one was kind of a pleasant surprise to me.
It wasn't one of those must signings, but I'm glad it happened. You're right. Continuity is great on the defensive backfield because you need your guys knowing where you are. Like even though um, Revis was good at safety, you could tell that first game back there was some blown coverages and guys were pointing at each other, trying to like, no, that was you to go that way. I had this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think as long as you can keep that cohesion, you're going to see less of that, and they're going to be a formidable defense back there.
When we talked, the surprising part about this was that we had Sheldrick Redwine, Benny Sapp the third, and it almost felt like Fields was expendable. But depth in that backfield, we saw what injuries can do to that unit when we had to put in Kerfala Exume. Having guys that can step in before you have to get to that level is nothing but a good thing. And I'm with you. I thought Fields continued to improve as the season went on.
On the linebacker front, Aubrey Miller Jr. signed a 1-year extension. He was almost exclusively middle linebacker during practice and whatnot last year. Didn't really play a lot. Was hurt a little bit as well too, but didn't play a lot until the final couple weeks when they played a lot of the backups and rested Jameer Thurman. And Miller was excellent at middle linebacker. So, question on this is he the potential replacement for AJ Allen, who's also off to Ottawa?
I think the answer is probably yes, especially considering what CJ Avery's still not signed yet. So I think Miller is the guy they have definitely in pencil for that spot.
And no part of that upsets me. I think he'll fit in great. I don't feel like it matters who you put beside your Thurmans, your Brooks Juniors. I think you're going to see, and Roland Milligan, obviously, you're going to see whoever steps into that will linebacker spot coming in kind of ahead of the ball game because of who they're playing alongside.
And this guy's a heavy hitter too. He likes contact. He's a mean guy on the field. Very physical player. I think you could probably pencil him into that will linebacker spot. I know a lot of people were thinking that it was going to be maybe Seth Hundeby, Malik Straker, Nick Weeb. However, that kind of all works out with the Canadians. Keep it a Canadian position. I just don't think there's enough experience back there or gameplay that Miller might be the better fit right now. I think in the future that's probably going to be Seth Hundaby's spot. I have huge hopes for that kid out of the U of S, and I think maybe 2027 he's the starter, but for 2026 at least penciling it in now on paper, Aubrey Miller there, I like that move.
Yeah, I think
Hundaby's going to have a hell of a training camp to be penciled into that spot. I hope it happens. That'd be great, but yeah, you need some a little bit of pro experience under your belt to get in there.
I definitely think though Canadian is the future of that spot. Like you got Hundaby, you got Weeb, you got Straker. You can throw Dalkey down there in a pinch too. But yeah, it never hurts to have a guy that goes. And once again, these are guys that are just coming to training camp. There's no gear. Like there's always one or two surprise cuts at the end of training camp. Like Hundaby could very well jump into that position. Look at some of the rookies last year that showed up and showed out that were stars by the end of the season. You never know what you're going to get.
And then on the defensive line, Mike Rose, obviously the big one, big re-signing before the tampering window opened with a 1-year deal. And then Benoit Marion also re-signed a 1-year deal as well. So I look at the defensive line and you look at the interior. I think we're in pretty good shape with Mike Rose coming back. Obviously, Micah Johnson retired and he's the D-line coach now. But you have Elise Saad, you have Caleb Sanders, you have Mike Rose. So there's 3 right there. You might dress another interior lineman as well. But it's the ends that has a lot of people concerned. Where are we going to get our pass rush from? They have 18 defensive linemen under contract right now. I'm not too worried about that. They're clearly making this a priority, to bring in talent and as much talent as possible, see who's the best that they can get, and roll those guys out. Because yes, losing Malik Carney, Habakkuk Baldonado, that hurts, obviously. But there's guys here that, I mean, defensive ends. The Riders have traditionally had very good luck finding defensive ends in the CFL. So maybe the answer is Devin Adams, who comes over from Winnipeg and had 6 sacks in 14 or 16 games over the last 2 years. Maybe it's Chico Bennett Jr., who looked really, really good in the last couple of games of the season when they let him get on the roster. So that, to me, that's going to be the big thing to watch in training camp, is the defensive line. There's 18 guys on the roster right now, plus whoever else they decide to bring in or whatnot. Like, that's a fifth of the roster is D-line guys. So that's going to be a huge battle in training camp.
Well, no one knew who John Chick and Stevie Beggs were until they started wrecking offensive lines. So, like,
they made Terrell a star.
Exactly.
Well, you want to look at this roster, and you talk about the training camp battles. Where else is there really a legitimate opening spot? Will linebacker? Maybe. Maybe one American on the offensive line and that one receiver spot. You know, the one thing I've seen, and I'm going to highlight a comment we got, is we've seen all this talk about how Jeremy O'Day has let a lot of players go out the door. Have any of these guys that have left been a legitimate surprise? Malik Carney at $270,000, he's got to go. Micah Johnson retiring, that one hurt a little bit, but he's up there in age as a defensive lineman. The only real surprise maybe was Habakkuk Baldonado. And again, he's a guy that's going to get more money elsewhere. There are not a lot of open spots. We've seen a lot of this O'Day hate again, which we all expected. And it's hilarious
last week.
Like we knew this was coming. And yet a week after, we're back to pre-Grey Cup comments of he can't do his job. The dude just won us a cup. As the kids today say, maybe let him cook. He can clearly put a roster together. So let's give him this offseason. And he's brought in players that are going to shore up the one weakness that we have on this roster at defensive line. I got a lot of faith that he'll put guys together.
When you look at who left, and yes, very good players, very, very good players. The AJ Allen one to me is the big one, but
I agree. Yep.
I mean, when you want to, especially being Canadian, right? Like, just a potential ratio flip there. That's a big thing. Is it concerning? No. And the reason why I'm not worried about all the losses that we've had on the D line and Revis, I know everyone is upset about Revis. There wasn't a spot for Revis. I'll be completely honest. I big fan of CJ Revis. Antoine Brooks, cheaper, on a cheaper contract, played just as well, if not better, at Sam linebacker. Proved that he can play that spot. Okay, when it comes down to it, he's going to save you at least $100K. That to me, that's a no-brainer. Okay, so maybe it's safety. Well, you probably want to go with Canadians there if you can. And you also have Redwine and Sapp on entry-level contracts who can play in the defensive backfield. Again, $100,000 cheaper than CJ Revis. There wasn't a spot for him. AJ Allen, yes, spot for him.
You make a spot for AJ Allen.
The defensive ends, okay, sure. Baldonado, honestly, is more the curious one to me, just with that global designation.
And I had to laugh though because it's a 3-down how to think. Most defensive coaches in this league consider him more of an American. I'm like, dude can play. It doesn't matter what his passport says.
And then Malik Carney, Steve, as you said, at the price that he's getting, and good for him for getting it.
Oh, really?
And Edmonton vastly overpaid.
You know, we've said this time and time again. Get paid. I hope every player that leaves gets an absolute bag full of cash wherever they go. the more the merrier when they leave Saskatchewan, because that's, helps the team down the line too. But careers are short. You're never going to fault a guy for getting that money. There's just no legitimate reason to pay him $270,000 a year.
And teams that go out and spend on the first day of free agency are the teams that make those splashes. They were not good teams last year. Edmonton, Ottawa, the two teams going out there all the way. I actually really like what Winnipeg did, which also means I hate what they did. But a team that realized, okay, well, we crossed over. Our window for getting to the Grey Cup is over. We got to do something. So they at least realized that they're not what they were. So
I don't think they think it's closed. I think Winnipeg, with how aggressive they are, they've got 1, maybe 2 years while Zach is still upright.
Wow, getting that offensive lineman Jarrell Broxton from BC, that's a huge move. That's a great move for them.
Well, yes and no. Considering him and Bryant play the same position, one of them's going to have to move.
I bet you it'll be Stanley Bryant. He'll play right tackle, and the other guy, Broxton, will play left.
And that is a lot of money in your bookends too.
Yep.
But if you're going to pay people, that's a position you pay them.
Yep. Protect your quarterback, and you saw with Zach last year, taking more and more hits. So if you're Winnipeg, you got to make that a priority, right? But with Saskatchewan,
if I know anything about offensive linemen dealing with them from Saskatchewan, they do not like switching sides, because if they do, they get very upset and try to cancel their contracts and run back to Montreal.
But when you look at Saskatchewan, the depth of this team was so good that's how you continue to have that depth, is you're going to have that turnover. If you just have, 2-3 big time players, you're not going to have a lot of success. When you have as many guys that the Riders can put out as they do, and on the defensive line, when you're running an 8-man rotation and your whole defense is predicated on fresh legs and getting pressure to the quarterback, you need a rotation. You need to have 8 guys on the game day roster. And to do that, you kind of have to go a little bit cheaper with some of them, right? So that's clearly what the idea is, and the thought is that we can scout good defensive linemen. And with the talent that this team has brought in over the last number of years, I think we can give them the benefit of the doubt on that.
Now, that's the comment section on any Rider article.
And when you got one of the best defensive coaches in the league, I think we're okay.
Yeah. So, the signings that they made, the offseason moves, and we'll kind of get into this a little bit as well too. The offseason moves that they've made were before the free agent signing period. They were always going to be about who they re-signed. They started with 45 free agents. They signed like 23 of them, which is a huge amount. And they kept, except for AJ Allen and CJ Rivas, which again, I don't think there really was a spot for Rivas. They kept every single one of their all-stars.
Yep. Other than Rivas, Carney, and Allen, they've basically kept their entire Grey Cup roster. And Neal, sorry. I keep on forgetting about Neal.
And if you want to flip over to that, Tommy Neal. Love the guy. He's going to be a cult hero in Saskatchewan forever. He can live off that West final touchdown forever. Had 500 and some odd yards last year. Not like it's a huge, huge number. Yes, trending upwards in his career, and that's great. But when you have invested that draft capital that the Riders have over the last number of years, you're probably looking at the turnover just to keep things, on the cheaper side, right? You got to find guys that can come in and play on their second and third years on their first contract still. And with Neal, it was basically KSB or Neal. And we talked about this how many times in the offseason, and we all thought it was going to be KSB that would be going. And it would be Neal that they'd keep. So if you factor in the idea of, okay, it's one or the other, I mean, with KSB, with the marketing and the PR standpoint and all that kind of stuff off the field, and when he's healthy, he's an excellent, excellent receiver. I don't think there's a debate which one you want to keep. obviously that the health of KSB is always going to be a concern with missing significant time over the last couple of years. But when the guy plays, he's an absolute beast.
Okay, here's my
KSB
question.
is what you hope Tommy Neal turns into.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where are you putting Tommy Neal if you're Winnipeg? Slot back or wide receiver?
Probably slot.
Okay, right now, if we're running 3 slot backs, we're running 2 slot backs actually, 3 wide receivers. We have Dembski starting, Ontario Wilson starting.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you putting Neal? Third slot back, run 2 wide receivers. Like,
yeah,
yes, the Neal signing is great, but he's not starting over Pokey or Dembski. Like it's a depth signing for Winnipeg at this point.
Nah, you don't sign him to not start.
So you put him out a wide receiver?
Well, you're not running 3 wide receivers. You're running 3 slots.
I guess you're on 3 slots. Okay.
You only have 2 ends of the field, Greg.
I guess yes. You got clear. So you got Claricius and White on the outside. I guess you can put him in the middle.
Yeah.
There goes Gavin Cobb's future career right there. He thought he was gonna really.
But anyway, back to the Riders. Not worried about the signings, lack of signings, whatever. Because honestly, they've made 2 moves in this free agent window. James Ledger Jr. we talked about, and the other one, James Vaughters on the defensive line from Winnipeg. Probably the most consistent player in the CFL. Went to the NFL for 3-4 years. But every single season in his CFL career, which has been 5 seasons so far, he's had either 5 or 6 sacks. So this is a guy who's going to be in that rotation on the D line. He's probably going to get us 5 or 6 sacks just based off history. It's going to be one of those 2 numbers. He's a vet, and I'm okay with the signing. I like it. It's fine to me.
I love it when you lose some of the vets that they lost along that D line. You lose your Micah Johnsons and your Malik Carney's, getting another vet back there to teach some of these young pups to play the CFL game. I'll take 5 or 6 sacks and that veteran presence. Yes, please.
And that's what we talked about. Like that's why we said the Mike Rose signing was very important, because you needed that veteran presence. And so bringing Vaughters in to help definitely doesn't hurt. Because yes, Micah Johnson may still be a veteran presence, but he's now the coach. You need someone on that field under live fire helping the guys out.
And of course, the Vaughters signing isn't official yet. Can be made official next Tuesday when free agency officially opens.
I thought they announced that one officially today. I think Winnipeg released them.
Did they?
I saw the Riders actually announced it.
They announced Letcher.
Oh. Yeah, they announced Letcher.
Oh, did I? Maybe I'm thinking the wrong moves. I swear they announced. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. I'm usually wrong.
Yes.
Nothing official.
Yeah, and the final thing we got to mention here in the opening kickoff, as we got to get the show moving on here, the Riders releasing Brett Lother on Monday. A bit of a surprise to you guys?
It was a surprise until I heard they did it before his roster bonus kicked in. I'm like, that's cold. Like, did they do it while he was unlacing his skates after the hockey game? Woof.
I'm willing to bet that obviously there was a conversation. They would have had a meeting.
I think he knew. The way he's acting, he probably knew it was coming.
Yeah, like we're not going to pay you this. We'll release you. But
do you want to do the hockey game first?
It's your thing. You're the one that came up with the idea of doing this. We want you there, obviously, to do that. Are you cool with still doing it? Yes. Awesome. We love it. Thank you.
And they won. It wasn't even a loser leaves town match. Yeah, he won it.
Knowing that he didn't get the bonus, not surprising, but I mean, on the field, not surprising. You want to move on from him after a really, really tough year last year. that kick in the Grey Cup still. They replayed the Grey Cup last week on TSN2, and I was watching it, and I was like, oh, that kick. I'm like, oh my God, it made that game so much tighter than it should have been. But off the field, I mean, as a person, Brett Lothar is one of the best there is out there. He's an absolute wonderful human being. What he has done for this team and the organization with the PA, but in the community, and doing everything he's done with the Rider Foundation as well too. Like, first ballot, whenever he's eligible, whenever he retires, first ballot, he's in the Plaza of Honor, 100%, and he absolutely deserves it.
And his video is going to be him running into Hill Country. That's all it's going to be, is just him running into Hill Country.
What else do you need?
If
that epitomized Brett Lothar's career in Saskatchewan, not because that's all he did, but just that play, the win, the kick, and then the run to the fans. Because that's what he was. He was all about Saskatchewan, the fans, the Rider Nation as a whole. That was Brett Lothar.
What was it? The final year at Taylor Field, they redid the kick with Ridgway and Glenn Suter and it was a Bob Foley snapping the ball. Hopefully, at some point, they can do one with John Ryan and Brett Lothar and have them
just run to Hill Country
for Labor Day Classic. Okay, it has to be the Labor Day Classic pre-game. They redo it and run into Hill Country and crush a couple Churchills in there. That would be just fantastic.
I don't know. Do you know how much Churchills cost at the stadium?
That's why they're probably only crushing a couple.
A couple, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Brett Lothar officially released on Monday, and we're in the market for a new kicker, Michael Hughes.
Yep.
I'm certain another thing about Brett, I'm certain if he thought he was done, he'd be with the organization already. The fact that he still thinks he can still go is probably a lot of that. So who knows? At the end of training camp, he could very well be a part of the Riders organization again.
If things don't work at camp, he could be our kicker again next year. You never know.
That is also true.
He's not going to rule out anything. And football is a great game, but a terrible business. We've worked with Brett Lothar. We've talked about it. We had the shirt run with him. Solid dude. Wish him well. Thanks for, is it 10 years? 10 years as a Rider? 12? Long time.
That long.
It was 10 then, wasn't it?
8?
No.
1 second, I'm looking it up.
I thought it was 10.
Brett Lothar has been a Rider since 2015.
Oh, it was that long? 2015?
Well,
really?
2015, and then he went to the Argos, and he came back in 2017. So,
where's my
he's twice a Rider?
There's a couple scenes missing in that.
3 times a Rider. Sorry, I forgot. He went to the Eskimos for a little bit too. I forgot about that.
He started with
Hamilton,
missing in here too, didn't he?
Sorry, what?
Started with Hamilton, didn't he?
Started in Hamilton, yeah, and then ended up in here, and then the Argos because he was a practice roster. Then we cut him. Went to the Argos, came here.
Steve, write this down. This will be remember that guy soon.
Yeah, probably will be. Then 2017 he was here. 27, and we cut him because he was on the practice roster. Went to the Eskimos because White got hurt. Spent the rest of the season with them, and then 18 he became our kicker and hasn't looked back.
There you go. Well, that's the opening kickoff presented by Kathy Feshton of Royal LePage Next Level. A nice long one. This one with all the free agent news, obviously. Time for Remember That Guy, sponsored by District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience. Brett Lothar.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it's not Brett Lothar.
Dave Ridgway.
It's not Dave Ridgway either.
Damn.
Did not do kickers.
Greg, you have a Rough Rider player from the past. Once, twice, 3 times a Rider. Who knows? Going to give us some hints, and we're going to try and guess who it is. So let's remember that guy. How many Van Stones is this one?
This one's going to be difficult, and the only reason why I picked this guy is because he came up on my feed recently. Actually, I think Monday, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that guy. So,
okay.
Born in Laval, Quebec.
Shaq Murray
Started-
Lawrence.
No. Good one, though. That good pull. Good pull.
Wow.
The list of former riders that are on that Olympic team for bobsled.
I looked at the Olympic bobsledders too, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait. The Olympics haven't started yet. Started off at the University of Calgary as a receiver for 3 seasons, then got moved to defensive back. Drafted in the 3rd round of the CFL draft, but also had NFL interest. Has called Phoenix, Philly, and Calgary home as well. Technically a 2-time rider. In 43 CFL games, he has 39 tackles and 4 interceptions. Made the West Final 3 times, but no Grey Cup appearances.
I can see it.
And the reason why I brought him up, because he was just named the head coach of the Calgary Colts of the PFC.
Yeah, I saw that too. I'm totally blanking on his name. Oh my goodness. He was corner Eli Buka, yes. Yeah. I saw that. I saw the Colts thing, and I meant to write that down in my list here of remember that guy, guys.
Last year, he was actually a coach for the Dinos. He's stayed in Calgary. He finished his CFL career in Calgary. Actually came back. I forgot. He left us. I had all the stuff up, and then he returned after like 3 years not in the league to play for Calgary for a season, and that was it. And then he's been coaching with the Dinos ever since. So
love us some CJFL guys here.
Especially me.
Well, you only really love the Regina Thunder guys.
Well, that's true. The Hilltops can, whatever. But
save that for September.
Shame you missed the Banjo Bowl bus and the Calgary. Was it the Calgary Colts were in our?
It was the Colts
in our hotel. Yeah.
The Colt. It's funny because the Colts actually upset the Rifles that weekend on a 51-yard last-second field goal. So
the Riders need a new kicker. So
yeah, I know one.
Oh, don't get Greg started again. Jesus,
I'm surprised he didn't mention it before.
Hey, I'm behaving myself when it comes to that, but hey, that one was for Sheila because Sheila's actually the Thunder manager. She's actually in the hospital right now waiting surgery. So hopefully she's listening because that one was for her.
Well, hopefully nothing serious, Sheila.
Gallbladder by the sounds of it, because she's asking me how my surgery went a couple of years ago.
Yes. Well, Eli Buka on Remember That Guy, sponsored by District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience. Let's jump to the Churchill Brewing Company odds and end zones. We'll talk free agents kind of going elsewhere. Let's talk about the quarterback situation, because no starting quarterbacks were out and available this free agent period. It was all the backups. So Jake Mayer goes to Ottawa. Who didn't go to Ottawa? Jake Mayer goes to Ottawa. That was a good day. I'll tell you, that was a good day.
I'm gonna wait. I have something to say about that Mayer signing, but that's my rant I've been doing all week on Twitter. So we can come to that later.
Okay. Taylor Powell goes to Edmonton. Dustin Crum goes to Montreal, and Chase Bryce, who I was kind of hoping that we would maybe take a chance on, stays in BC. I look at backup quarterbacks. Do the Riders still need one with Jack Cohn kind of sliding into that number 2 spot as of right now? Would you guys still want there to be maybe a vet or somebody who's
Greg.
Somebody else available? MBT.
I know what you're thinking, Greg, and you shut your mouth right now.
Say his name and he appears.
Say his name and he appears. Steve believes in Chris Drevy. Steve believes in Chris Drevy. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada.
And Saskatchewan. We're singing.
I hate you both. We already have Tommy Stevens, who is a better version. Chris Traveler is Tommy Stevens on Temu, okay?
Listen, I had to deal with Jake Mayer for a year. You have to deal with.
But at least Jake Mayer can
Trevler.
throw the ball. Not well, but he can throw the ball.
And Greg has to deal with Sean Lemon. It has to
God,
happen.
I hope so.
I've told you, I've made my peace with that. I want it because it will give me so much good content.
But anyway, do the Riders need to go after who's out there?
I don't think
MBT.
that- I'm actually pulling it up right
That's-
now.
God forbid
That's the
Jeremiah
thing.
Mazzoli.
I'm pretty sure
Caleb
he will never come to
Evans.
Saskatchewan.
He'd retire before he comes here.
I think so.
Shea Patterson. We want to do that again. Adam Tyree.
There is nobody out there that gets me any more excited than Jack Cohn does. And at this point, Cohn's been in our system for a couple of years. I'd rather he step in than anybody on that list. Carry with Dolagala and Patterson. No, and that is Grey Cup MVP Shea Patterson to you, and no.
And Dolagala just re-signed in Hamilton anyway. He's not going anywhere.
No, thank you to both.
Chris, like I said, I'm going through. There's not a lot of quarterbacks this year at all.
Nope.
It's just she's empty.
If ever there was a year to trust your scouting department and see what you brought in at camp, it's now. There is nobody out there. If something happens and Trevor Harris gets hurt, you look at a trade at that point. If you are a competitive team going for the cup, you look at a trade. You're not relying on that backup to start the year.
You call Toronto up and you see what the asking price is for Nick Arbuckle.
Yep. And I'd be fine with that. And I'd take him over Jack Cohn. But for all intents and purposes, there's nobody out there that's worth throwing any kind of legitimate money at. So you might as well see if you've got anything in Cohn and a couple of the guys that they brought in.
I mean, as far as Logan Bonner, so that tells you where we're at right now for available quarterbacks.
Yeah. So just stick with Jack Cohn at this point.
Yep.
Greg, you wanted to talk about Jake Mayer in Ottawa.
Well, no, I mainly want to talk about a CFL exec flapping his lips on a podcast about players that are not his own.
Jim Barker, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Jim Barker came out very early going, I'm pretty sure Mayer's going to Ottawa to be with Ryan Dinwiddie. And I'm like, you, sir, are currently employed as an executive in this league. The right answer is going, I know nothing about what's going on. That is not my player. It would be improper for me to even speculate. And he's just up there talking about where guys should be going and what they're thinking. And I'm like, that is tampering adjacent, because it's safe to say he had information either from Mayer's team, which also means they were tampering, or someone from Ottawa gave him a heads up that, I think Mayer's coming here. Because that is way too specific, especially for someone like Jim Barker just to pull out of his butt.
I'm sorry, you can't suggest that there is tampering happening before the Ed Hervey tampering window. That is the whole reason it exists. There's no way teams would go above and beyond that.
I say just open the Ed Hervey tampering window Labor Day. Guys are recruiting for next year. Hey, your contract's up. Come on over to Saskatchewan. They're talking about it all the time.
Oh, yeah, 100% they are.
So I say just the day after Grey Cup, that's when everybody's contract should end. Just make it a free-for-all then.
Could you imagine how fun that would be? Oh, yes, please.
There's a 48.
The moment kickoff, as soon as they're lifting the cup, contracts are done and go.
JO's on the phone with the agents. Bro,
Off season, not in the CFL.
No, you give them till the hangover's over, and then you start the negotiations.
That was 4 days for Dante Myers, I think he said. It's one hell of a party.
It was. I saw him that night.
Yeah. So the Riders' losses in free agency, we talked about AJ Allen going to Ottawa, CJ Rivas going to Ottawa, Habakkuk Baldonado going to Ottawa, Jake Mayer going to Ottawa.
All you need to do to get a contract in Ottawa is have worn a Saskatchewan Rough Rider jersey.
Ottawa Rough Riders. That's what they want. They want to be called the Ottawa Rough Riders so bad they will take anything we give them.
Now, a team like Ottawa, you talked about it. When you're a good team, you're probably not going to be spending a lot in free agency. You're a bad team like Ottawa, you're probably going to make some splashes. You're trying to get as many guys as possible here. And they re-signed like none of their own potential free agents. And when you have a brand new head coach coming in, there's going to be even more turnover. So you can go ahead and say that they won free agency just the same as Edmonton won free agency last year. Look where that got.
Like we did in 2016.
All those splashes, right? Like it takes time for teams to gel when you have that big of turnover. So Ottawa, yeah, they might be better in the second half of the year. I still think they're going to be garbage in the first half.
Does this mean Habakkuk is going to be the Justin Capicati of this year?
It's possible.
Remember that guy I need to pull
out. We mentioned Millie Carney obviously going to Edmonton. Joe Robustelli going to Edmonton as well too. And Tommy Neal in Winnipeg. That's the one that bothers me the most, was Neal to Winnipeg. Go anywhere else, man. Come on.
Here's the question I have to ask you guys. Whose career in Saskatchewan has been more overhyped? Tommy Neal or Joe Robustelli?
Ooh.
And I love both. Don't get me wrong. But we're talking like the way people are talking about these guys leaving, it's like they're first ballot Plaza dudes.
They're 500-yard receivers. That's 25 yards a game.
Actually, now that I think about Robustelli in a walk, Neal was productive during when he needed to be. Robustelli had some powder puff games and that one really nice catch that
shouldn't have been necessary.
Absolutely, yeah, that didn't need to be that fancy looking because Mayer couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah, because with Robustelli, he was here the year before on the practice roster. There was a lot of hype behind him.
But he just never put it together in spurts, and I don't think he ever really had the chance. Solid receiver, don't get me wrong. But it's not the second coming of Don Narcisse.
He had that huge game against Calgary, 191 yards, massive breakout game, couple big long catches in that one. The game against Toronto, where we secured first place, he was very solid in that one. I think he had 75 yards and a touchdown in that one. And he had one other game that was good, and that was the Labor Day Classic, highlighted by a 69-yard touchdown. So outside of that, his best game was like 40 yards.
I was going to say, I'm looking at it right now. Robustelli had 544 yards, 191 in that game against Calgary. He almost popped 200. Then he had 2 games, 70+, and then 40, 21, 28, 36. He had one with 8.
I'm sure you could find another receiver making minimum contract to get 8 yards a game. I'm sure they can find somebody to do that. And this isn't a knock on Joe Robustelli. No. It's just in the pecking order from where he wasn't leaned on to be, that guy. And that's what we're looking for, is a 5th receiver at this point. And Tommy Neal, there was no expectations on Neal last year. Yeah. When they signed him in free agency, it was like, oh, okay. Mace knew him from Toronto. Okay, cool. Who is this guy?
But even then, 535 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a very important one in the West Final. Mm-hmm. But you're looking at his best game was 86 yards, then a 75, and then a bunch of 30s and 40s.
And Taylor in the comments said, he's a big part of the reason we made the Grey Cup. Nobody's forgetting that, and nobody's knocking the guy. We're just talking about how loud the comments are, and I was one of them when he was signed in Winnipeg. My first reaction was, "Oh, that one's gonna hurt." But you look at who's behind him. You've got a Joe, you've got Deshaun Mims, you've got Weeb, you've got
GDB.
Yeah, Del Duncan Busby, right? Like the amount of depth behind him and guys who need the time to play made him expendable. And I said it on Twitter. I hope he has a career season in Winnipeg and goes 0-18.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
Is there anybody else out there you'd like to see the Riders go after in free agency?
In a perfect world, Winton McManus.
He sounds like he's going to Hamilton.
I said, if you think from a no money perspective, salary cap isn't a thing. But if that's the case, AJ Allen's still here. I don't think we're looking at any more big signings. We're going to be looking at maybe a couple of those day 2 signings, like your Tommy Niels from last year. Otherwise, it's all depth, and that's what this team needs now. We have 18 of the 24 starters from last year, despite a lot of comments of us losing half our starters. I've seen a few of those in the comments, in this episode where, we're bringing back the majority of our offense and almost our entire defensive backfield. We did not lose half our starters. We'll be okay. It's depth pieces.
There's a sneaky good receiver sitting out there right now, has not been signed yet, as far as I know, unless he's in the NFL and I missed it. Arkel Smith from the Elks. He's not signed right now. I think he could be a guy you could bring in as that American if you want a guy with a little bit of experience.
Only one that I saw that kind of would make sense for what this team needs would be Javon Santos Knox out of Ottawa, linebacker. If he could play the will spot, but at that point, that was before the Riders re-signed Aubrey Miller, and I'd rather have Miller out there honestly than Santos Knox. If this was next year and it was all in for a home Grey Cup, maybe I'd favor Santos Knox more than Miller. But the year before, give me the younger guy.
Here's an interesting question from Taylor. Where do we place the Riders at the standings at the end of next year right now?
Right now? Well, BC is clearly going all in. They don't give a crap about money. They're throwing it to everybody. I think the Riders finished second. Right now, Riders are second to BC.
I think that. Yeah, I was going to say I think they're fighting for first, but yeah, it's going to be 1A 1B with the Lions. It's because BC's bringing in a lot of talent, but they need to be a team by the end of it. They've had a lot of talent for the last 2 seasons, and they've spent like drunken sailors, as proven by their fines and losing a draft picks last year. So I still believe what this team is doing, but yeah, I think top end first, low end too.
I do like our depth better than BC, though. I think we're doing 100%. It the right way, and it's taken a few years for them to get to this level and where they are. But I think that Craig Reynolds talked about sustained success. I think this is the best we've been built for it since his tenure began, and I think we're actually in that period now where we're going to have that sustained success. Just need a couple more championships, though. That's it.
That always seems to be the problem with this bloody team. Some really talented teams, just not good at winning the championship.
Yeah,
we all remember 2014 after, was it 2013? 7-0, 8-0?
Or 8-1, yeah.
8-1 going into the Banjo Bowl.
Yeah.
All right. One other thing here to do on the show, and this won't take very long. It is our free agent preview presented by Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas. We only have the linebackers to look at. The 2 pending free agents, obviously AJ Allen going to Ottawa, and CJ Avery, who is still unclaimed at this moment. I wouldn't mind Avery being brought back. I thought he was pretty good in his rookie year. And he was the starter last year, got hurt in that first game against Ottawa, and then AJ Allen took that role and absolutely ran off with it. If they want to bring Avery back, I'm absolutely all for it, because I think he can be a very good player in this league. And yeah.
100%. Like, if anything, he's going to be a depth piece, both on special teams and in that linebacking core. If they bring him back, great. If they don't, whatever. Like, good luck to him on his career because yeah, he's a solid player.
Just gonna go with what both of you said. There's nothing really to add there. Love to see him back. Won't be mad if he's gone.
And the guys currently under contract, the Canadians, Seth Hundeby, obviously a rookie coming in. Again, I'll say I have high hopes for him, but I'm going to temper those at least to start this season. Just jumping to the pros is a huge jump, so I think it'll take him a little bit, but it won't take him long. And then you have Nick Weeb and Malik Straker, and you could probably add Jaden Dulkey in there as kind of a backup as well too. So there's your special teams guys. There's some depth pieces as well. Probably not going to see a ton of time on the defense, but guys that I'd like to see Straker a little bit more on the defense as opposed to just special teams.
He looked pretty good in the few times they got in there when they were playing the backups. I like our young Canadian core that they seem to be building right now. Weeb, Hundeby, and Straker should be fairly good. There is a small linebacking signing I would like the Riders to make. Steven Smith is out there, very good at special teams. Back-to-back CJFL Defensive Player of the Year. Just saying.
Hashtag once a Rider.
Actually, and he was a Rider. He was on the practice roster. And the fact that the Argos put him on the negotiation list the minute he became a free agent so the Riders could not re-sign him tells you how good a player he is. And he actually got real defensive playing time last year as well. So.
Was he a former Thunder player? I seem to remember
he might have been.
Player.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't imagine why you'd have any love for Steven Smith.
From Killallie, Saskatchewan.
I tell you, it's not his love for that first name.
No, it's definitely not.
It's a quality first name. He spells it wrong though, doesn't he?
PH.
Yeah, PH, doesn't he?
No, he spells it right. Yeah.
Yeah, he spells it wrong. And the Americans that we have, obviously, Jameer Thurman, our starting middle linebacker, Aubrey Miller Jr. we talked about as well, too, potentially at will. And then we have Demoy Kennedy and Vi Jones as new guys coming in. So maybe one of them can end up being a practice roster backup, kind of the way that Aubrey Miller was, and maybe get on special teams a little bit here and there. But otherwise, we're pretty set. I mean, it's only – and I didn't even put it – I must have had him in the defensive backs, but Antoine Brooks Jr., obviously, at the Sam linebacker spot, which it's a cover position, right? So, but when you look at the three starting linebackers, Brooks, Thurman, and then whatever they want to do on the other one, Aubrey Miller or whatever.
Let's hope for Seth Hundeby. That'd be great.
I think in due time. I really do. But linebackers were set. Jameer Thurman, obviously, adding that extra year onto his contract as well. All CFL player and just that big-time leader making plays all the time. I can't see that slowing down anytime soon. And
just his leadership. Like, yeah. I've become such a fan of him from the post-game videos in the locker room when he hands out the game ball. Like, he's the defensive leader. They always say the quarterback, the starting middle linebacker, is the quarterback of the defense, and that tells he is the leader of that defense.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing Brooks in that Sam linebacker spot for the full season, not just the back third of the season. I'm really looking forward to the whole year with him there because he was a weapon out there.
You know you're good when you make a guy like CJ Revis expendable.
So we'll be fine there. I know everyone's upset about the AJ Allen loss, but we'll be fine. I think we'll be just fine. But all those news or all those signings aren't official. It's still possible. Come on, right? AJ Allen comes back and CJ Revis comes back. It could happen.
Didn't AJ Allen already pen his goodbye?
He did.
He did. Yeah.
Still waiting on Jake Mayers, though.
If ever there was a bounce back player, that'd be great. Let's see it. We need a veteran quarterback. We need a QB2.
I don't know what their plan is there. I really don't. But that's for there's still a couple months in the off season. But we will leave it there this week, ending it with the free agents on the linebacking group, and that does it for our free agent previews with all the positions for this Riders team.
I got a quick yes or no for you guys before we leave here. I'm going to look at our remaining free agents
Dennis Guile.
that aren't. No. And give me a quick yes or no. Mario Alford,
No.
CJ Avery,
Yes.
Kadeem Carey obviously has retired and moved on to coaching. Charbel DeBeer,
Meh.
Yes.
Philippe Gagnon.
No.
Nope.
Jorgen Hughes, sign you bastard.
Yes.
Yes, please. Immediately. That'll be tomorrow's Craig Reynolds, Jeremy O'Day Wednesday announcement.
I hope so. I really do. I will accept that one if Craig, you want to do that right now? Hit send. I understand. For some reason, they don't have Jake Mayer as reportedly signed. They have everyone else as reportedly signed except for Jake Mayer.
It's just to taunt Alex.
Yeah, I guess so. Sean McEwen.
I mean, the fact that they traded for him on Festivus says enough to me right there.
Sean McEwen.
No.
No.
Braden Knoll.
No.
Mitch Picton is
Yes.
essentially retired, right? We know.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Unofficially retired. Shane Ray.
Yes. That said,
Yeah.
the numbers game, they already have 18 guys. He's not coming back.
Trevon Tate.
Yes.
Where are you going to put him?
On the offensive line, preferably.
Yeah, where?
Where?
Valid point. There's no room, but
It was
yeah,
really
they're not going back to.
It was between him and Bramer.
Yeah, that's true. And Bramer's the better option.
And Noah Zur.
Canadian depth, yes.
I think that's going to be one of those. Stay ready for camp.
Stay ready.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I don't think there's a huge lineup of teams waiting to call on Noah Zur. Did admirably when he got in there for us.
Yep.
But it's one of those stay in shape, and if something happens in training camp, you'll be our first call.
100%. And knowing the Riders with their offensive lineman in training camp, there will be a call.
But they did not sign an offensive lineman in free agency this year, and those are the guys that always get hurt. So we should be okay.
There's still a lot
So
of free
far.
agent time left.
So far.
I mean, judging by how busy Jeremy O'Day's been over the past 3 days with a grand total of 2 signings, I think we'll be. I'm pretty safe in assuming they're probably not going to go after a high-profile offensive lineman that's out there.
I can't believe he has 2 signings and neither one was a Herdman Reed or an Onyeka.
Who? Yeah. Didn't one of the Onyekas from Ottawa? Wasn't he a free agent or got cut or something?
Godfrey re-signed with Calgary.
Kenny Onyeka, wasn't it?
Kenny Onyeka, Ottawa. Where's Ottawa? Love doing this in real time. Winnipeg didn't have one. Hamilton didn't have one. I hate the way they have this organized. Kenny Onyeka is a free agent right now. He's an offensive lineman.
Position in need.
There you go. We might get our Onyeka, Phil.
You might get your Onyeka, Greg.
There you
Who
go.
knows?
We can once again have a favorite.
But we will leave it here this week on the Piffles podcast, and we'll basically have the exact same show next week when all the signings are made official.
Official.
Yeah. Hopefully there's some chaos. A team pulls their offer and sends somebody into a tailspin. I'm hoping that there's something like that, which doesn't involve the Riders.
Unless it's AJ Allen and he's coming back.
Yeah.
Hey, next week we can talk about the Sean Lemon signing. I cannot wait for that.
You can bet on that. Piffles podcast is brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. Come on, you knew that was coming.
Oh, I set you up for it.
Still funny.
I wasn't going to say it. I was putting it out there for you, man.
Special thanks, of course, go to Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas for their support, making everything possible. Thanks for listening, commenting. We appreciate those comments. Keep bringing them each and every week. Thanks for watching the live feed or watching on SAS Telemax TV on demand. This is Ghost Behind Your Mind by Tyler Gilbert.
Thank you for being such a big supporter and fan of the CFL and myself personally.